I live with bipolar disorder, and it's a part of me like a shadow at noon, always present, always shifting. I didn't choose this path. I never had a map detailing the twists and turns of my mind. Can you imagine waking up one day, feeling on top of the world, overflowing with energy, only to be dragged down another day by a weight you can't see? Not just feeling sad, but sucked into a void where even the simplest tasks feel like climbing a mountain. That stark contrast? It's like riding a roller coaster, but the tracks keep disappearing beneath me. In the early years, I didn't understand it, and neither did my family. They loved me, but they didn't understand the storm brewing inside. It manifested in ways that were explosive and unpredictable. Growing up was like playing emotional dodgeball. I'd swing between laughter and rage in an instant. I'd see my mom's worried face, maybe hear her voice tremble, and suddenly everything would crumble. There were nights when I felt invincible, convinced I could conquer the world. I danced through life, convinced that every person's smile reflected my brilliance. But then with the snap of a finger, the shadows would loom larger, and I'd find myself isolating, spiraling into anger or despair. When the rage came, it felt like a switch flipped on, a misplaced trigger that set off a chain reaction I couldn't control. I remember one instance with my brother. We were arguing about something minor, trivial even, but I was already on edge, brimming with that uncontrollable energy that feels like fire coursing through your veins. Words turned to shouts, shouts turned to pushes, pushes turned to grappling. That moment, we were consumed not by love or brotherhood, but by this chaotic dance of emotion. The look on his face? Confusion mixed with fear. I watched as his light dimmed, and it shattered my heart. In those moments, I didn't recognize the person I was. How could I claim to love someone, only to unleash this chaos on them? It felt like the very essence of who I was turned inside out. I felt guilty. I felt ashamed. Apologies after the storm meant nothing but echoes in an empty room. I've spent many nights reflecting on this. Love in its purest form is supposed to be warm, nurturing, and safe. But when the bipolar shifts come crashing in, that love can turn into something jagged and sharp. It's a double-edged sword, thrusting into connections that should be unbreakable. Therapy helped me find some clarity. It was here I learned that my emotions don't have to control me. They can be guides, not rulers. I learned the importance of communication, about setting boundaries, about the necessity of timeouts. It's vital to recognize when the waves are rising, to take a step back before that anger spills over, before words can land like punches. I started learning coping strategies, tools to manage when the tide comes in. Deep breaths, grounding techniques, writing my thoughts out. It's like equipping myself with a shield. I shared what I learned with my family. I urged them to do the same. We began to have conversations, sometimes clumsy, sometimes awkward, but they were ours. Admitting I needed help wasn't a defeat, it was a victory. I've struggled to rewire my responses, to soften my edges, but it's a journey worth taking. And it's a journey I take one day at a time. I'm not perfect. I still have moments where I falter, where I can feel the shadows lurking. I'm constantly learning, constantly adapting. With each conflict, with each misstep, I move closer to understanding both this disorder and myself. I work to replace those physical altercations with words, to turn the chaos into a conversation rather than a confrontation. Today, I'm an advocate not just for myself, but for the people like me, those grappling with the complexities of bipolar disorder. We can talk, we can connect, we can heal. It's about breaking the silence, shattering the stigma, and forging stronger bonds with those we love. So if you're out there, struggling or even thriving, you're not alone. There's strength in vulnerability, hope in healing, and love in understanding. Each step forward is a testament to resilience, a nod to the beautiful complexity of being human.